Hi there, it's Sarah here from BJC Health, coming to you from Sydney, Australia. Thanks for showing an interest in one of our educational events. You're about to watch part one, so enjoy the event. If you've got any questions about the content, then please consider joining BJC Connect, where you can access all of our facilitators live. Otherwise, please consider leaving a comment and we'll do our best to get back to you.
Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Today I'm going to be taking us through a 20-25 minute presentation on the benefits of strength training for females of all ages throughout our whole lifespan. I'm going to cover things like the basics of strength training, the basics of female physiology, as well as looking at the effect of strength training throughout the female lifespan. And then towards the end, we'll get into my favorite part, which is how to actually incorporate strength training into your lifestyle with some examples and key concepts which I like to implement with my clients. So firstly, what is strength training? Strength training involves exercises which are designed to improve our muscle strength, our muscular power, and our muscular endurance. These types of trainings includes activities such as weightlifting, body weight exercises, as well as resistance band workouts. Many of you may be exposed to strength training if you have worked with some physios or exercise physiologists in the past. Strength training does so much more than just be able to help you lift heavy things. It offers a range of benefits for a variety of different people at all stages of their life. It supports our overall health outcomes and minimizes our risk for onset of chronic diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, as well as can help reduce pain and other musculoskeletal conditions related to muscle and bone, such as arthritis. Strength training enhances our physical performance related to our strength, our power, and our mobility. It helps build the size and capacity of your muscles so you can do things in life a little bit more easily. Strength training also promotes mental well-being and has shown to improve outcomes related to depression, mood, and self-confidence. As you may be able to hear, I am very passionate about the impact of strength training and the effect it can have on anyone's life. Today, we're here to focus on understanding how strength training supports females throughout their lifespan. Hopefully, this presentation not only provides you with purpose and direction in wherever you're at in your health journey, but also educates you on the why and how to help you build confidence in using strength training and build confidence in your bodies for the sport of life. This graph depicts musculoskeletal functional capacity over time. What this refers to, musculoskeletal functional capacity, is the abilities of a person's musculoskeletal system, meaning their muscles, their bones, their joints, their connective tissues, to perform physical tasks and activities in their daily life. For both males and females, it's shown that their bone and muscle tissue and how effectively it works steadily increases during childhood with bone mineral density peaking at age 20, and with your muscle mass peaking in the third decade of life. After this, in general, there is shown to be a progressive decline of both your bone mineral density and your muscle mass, as well as your muscle strength throughout adulthood and into older life. In the context of this graph, the threshold of disability refers to a point in time whereby a person's muscle strength, their joint function, or their bone integrity deteriorates to a level that limits their ability to perform everyday physical tasks, such as walking, climbing up stairs, or lifting up heavier objects. The main takeaway which I would like you to take from this graph, no matter where you're at, is that the greater the peak that you have, the slower the consequent decline. So the solid blue line represents an individual who has more muscle mass, more bone mineral density, and hence they have a slower rate of decline, which is inevitable due to age-related change. I do want to add something that isn't said explicitly in this image, and it is what it takes to build and maintain this increased musculoskeletal functional capacity. And if you haven't connected the dots already, it's referring to factors such as strength training. There are other factors as well, such as a good diet and other environmental factors. Female physiology undergoes dramatic changes across the lifespan, driven largely by fluctuations in our hormones. This graph depicts the hormonal events and phases throughout a female lifespan. It illustrates the fluctuating and higher estrogen levels which occur in perimenopausal women, as well as the lower progesterone levels which occur in adolescence and also once you've been through menopause. Our ovarian hormones play a significant role in our ability to build and maintain muscle mass, recover from injury, as well as influence a variety of other aspects of our health. There are, I assume, a lot of women on this call tonight and at many different ages and stages in their life. And I really believe that by educating ourselves about these physiological changes which happen, we can better anticipate and adapt to the challenges and opportunities which each stage presents. This knowledge can empower us to help us make informed decisions about our health, our fitness, and overall well-being throughout our lives. Okay, so what is the purpose and benefits of strength training at each stage throughout the lifespan? So beginning in your adolescence and early adulthood and going into your menstruating years, strength training, together with these higher levels of estrogen that we saw on the previous slide, create a more effective environment to build lean muscle mass and muscular strength, as well as promote healthy weight management. Some research has shown that regular exercise, including strength training, has shown to alleviate PMS symptoms, which can manage mood swings, fatigue, and some of the irritability that comes with the premenstrual syndrome, PMS. It also has been shown to enhance self-esteem and body image during these formative years. Then, during pregnancy, strength training has been shown to be safe and beneficial during pregnancy, provided it's done with the appropriate modifications and under medical supervision with a woman's health physio or of such. Strength training can physically help prepare the body for the physical demands of childbirth, as well as postpartum recovery and being a mother. The skills and impact of strength training become even more profound as females approach the menopausal transition and postmenopausal years, whereby drastic fluctuations and then significantly reduced hormone levels can cause various changes in our bodies. Strength training becomes particularly valuable as it provides a stimulus for maintaining muscle mass, supporting bone health through stimulating the bone modeling process, as well as promoting more tolerant connected tissues, which increase joint stability, improve our mobility, and help us prevent future injury. Okay, so now onto the how. How to incorporate strength training into your lifestyle. The Australian Physical Activity Guidelines recommend 2 to 3 days of strength training per week. And they recommend 2 non-consecutive days, and you can alternate this between your cardiovascular activity, as well as allow adequate time for recovery between sessions. The guidelines also recommend doing compound movements. So these are exercises targeting multiple muscles and multiple joints in the same time. Some examples include a squat, a lunge, a push-up, or some kind of row. These guidelines can vary slightly for certain conditions such as diabetes or severe cases of osteoporosis. And if you have some of these conditions, it is recommended to talk to a healthcare professional in the space, as they can create a program targeted for your specific needs. But these guidelines also don't vary for other conditions such as PMS or chronic low back pain. For many of the symptoms that we have in life, exercise has proven, and for specifically for females, to be a really effective tool for managing these symptoms. And very often there is a dose response, meaning the more exercise you do, the better the impact and the bigger the impact it can have on helping manage those symptoms. So now we're going to do a deep dive into some of the key concepts which I like to explore with my clients regarding strength training and how to navigate an exercise program when you're doing it yourself. These concepts apply to all strength training at all stages, at all ages, for all conditions. Yes, perfect. So this first point, if you forget everything else that I've said today, try and remember this one concept. So this is one of the most fundamental principles of strength training: progressive overload. Progressive overload in strength training means gradually increasing the challenge in your workouts to give your body enough stimulus to continue getting stronger over time. When you start lifting weights or doing some kind of resistance training, your muscles adapt to get used to the load and the effort which you give it. To keep building strength and to keep getting stronger, you need to increase the stimulus to your musculoskeletal system, to your muscles and your bones over time. So it has to then just work that little bit harder and to adapt to this new load. Progressive overload is the concept of adding just a little bit more wherever possible. And as you can see in the table, this can be applied through lifting a little bit heavier in the weights, doing a few extra repetitions, even trying to increase the sets or the frequency of your sessions. So if you've been doing 2 sessions, build that up to 3 sessions. That is a form of progressive overload. As a very general guide, when you apply this concept, it's recommended to not do jumps bigger than 5 to 20% for injury prevention. So for an example, if you have been lifting 10 kilograms in a specific exercise, then as a progression, you could try 12. So that's 12 kilograms for that exercise. So that's a 20% increase. It's like, you can think of it about as leveling up in a game. Each time you just try and push yourself a little bit more, and then your body will get stronger to handle the new load. So I'm going to just break down another example of progressive overload just to nail my point home. So as you can see with the triangles here, so we start with a body weight squat movement. And if you don't know, a squat movement is the movement that you do to sit down on a chair and then stand back up. So for example, in your resistance training program, you start with body weight resistance. And you can just do 10, once you build up to being able to do 10 squats, body weight squats, then you think, okay, how can I apply this progressive overload? Can I add in a 5 kilogram weight and maybe try and work your way up to maybe doing 5 repetitions and then 8 repetitions, and then build your way up to then doing 10 repetitions with that 5 kilos. Once you can get that 10 repetitions with that 5 kilos, then you think, okay, can I increase the weight again? Can I try maybe 7.5 kilograms, holding it? And then that's how you go. That's how you apply that progressive overload. You can also add progressive overload by adding tension. So by adding a pause or a hold, and just making the movement and the muscles having to work for a longer period of time. Another point that I just want to add here is that the notion of strength training is something that you should do, in my opinion, and that you can do in some form throughout your entire life. So there is no rush to overload quickly. Beginners should start with lighter weights and focus on proper form and technique, and then gradually increase the intensity and the complexity of the movement over time with confidence. And also to try and enjoy the process as much as possible. My next concept, which I'm going to talk about, is regarding exercise intensity. Are you working hard enough? To stimulate the positive adaptations in our body, we need to apply enough stimulus to the working muscles so that the muscles adapt and grow. On the slide, you can see an adapted version of the perceived exertion and reps in reserve scale. This is a scale which we use in exercise and strength training to determine how hard you are working and if you're working hard enough. In general, hard enough for strength training feels like a 7 out of 10 intensity, or like maybe you could do 2 or 3 more reps if you really had to push yourself. So your workout should feel hard, but not hard enough that you don't feel in control of what you're doing or how to do it properly. So if you start to feel out of control, whether it's because the weight feels too heavy or you don't understand the technique, or you're just having a day where things just feel harder, try and find a way to modify it and scale it back, even if it's just for that session. Auto-regulation is another concept in strength training, which is just a fancy way of saying you're allowed to adjust your workout based on how your body is performing on any given day. It's essentially applying a flexible approach to training, so you can listen to how your body feels and then modify your planned workout to account for life, so factors such as our stress levels, our sleep, our nutrition, hormonal fluctuations, or if you're recovering from injury or illness. The key idea of this is that instead of rigidly sticking to a pre-planned routine, you can listen to your body and make smart adjustments. On days where you're feeling strong and energetic, you can embrace this and push yourself a little bit harder. And then on days where you're feeling a bit fatigued or a bit more stressed, then you can reduce the intensity or the volume. And just to remember that something is always better than nothing. So even if you had a 30-minute session planned and you can only do 10 minutes, because that's what your energy and your life allows you to do that day, it's 100% better than nothing. So now for some fun, debunking some myths related to strength training and females, or that I find quite common in the female population. So the first one is that it's too late to start. Strength training is beneficial for females of all ages. It helps build and maintain our muscle mass, our bone mineral density, and our strength, which is particularly important as we age, as it prevents conditions like sarcopenia, osteoporosis, and helps maintain our independence. And at any point in your journey, you can do this and all of the benefits still apply. The next myth is that cardio is the most important, and something that often we think is true. And while cardio is great for many things, including our heart health, strength training is equally as important. And as we saw on that second slide of strength, the benefits of strength training for all of those physiological changes in our bodies, it helps build our muscles, it helps strengthen our bones, as well as a range of other benefits. Both cardiovascular activity and strength training provide long-term health benefits that neither can provide alone. Then there's the concept of having perfect technique. Strength training looks and feels different to everyone, depending on their own body, their previous training experience, as well as their health conditions. So if you are implementing strength training, try not to put too much pressure on yourself on having the perfect technique. You just want to feel in control of the movements. And then, as I was mentioning earlier about when you're starting, start lighter and just practice. And then you will get more confident in doing strength training with time. This next one is that women should lift lighter weights and do more reps to tone, which could be another concept that you've heard throughout your life. And lifting heavier weights with fewer reps can help us build muscle, can help us build muscle and a variety of muscle fibers, as well as burn energy and build a lean and strong physique. This concept of toning is essentially increasing your muscle mass and reducing your body fat, which lifting heavier weights can definitely help you achieve, along with a healthy diet. Next myth, which you may have heard, which is along the same vein, is that cardio is better for fat loss. And strength training actually helps us build our muscle mass, which then in turn increases our metabolism, as it helps our bodies just burn more energy even at rest. A combination of both strength training and cardio is ideal for fat loss. And my last myth of the day is that you shouldn't do strength training when you are pregnant. So, and as I mentioned before, throughout the female lifespan, when you are pregnant, strength training can definitely be done with individualized modifications. And if anything, it can help us maintain your strength, improve your posture, and prepare your body for labor and postpartum recovery. And then, yeah, just a little disclaimer to work with a women's health physio. So, in conclusion, I just want to reiterate of all of the benefits which I mentioned of strength training for females throughout their lives, from adolescence to older adulthood. By understanding the purpose and adhering to the appropriate guidelines, females can harness the power of strength training to increase their physical health, as well as manage life's transition, as well as promote overall well-being.
So you've just finished watching part 1 of one of our recent educational events. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you'd like to access part 2, then you need to sign up for BJC Connect. It's a free platform where you can access not just the recordings of past events, but also access a whole range of upcoming future events and access our team of facilitators live. All of the details that you need to join BJC Connect are now flashing up on your screen. But otherwise, like our staff, subscribe if you'd like to see more information from BJC Health. Look forward to seeing you in an event soon.